Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, back with another episode of our RimWorld Rome Let's Play. So, I've been working diligently off camera to get this base properly defended, and as you can see it is looking pretty good, but we'll take a closer look at that in just a second. We'll also get the opportunity to test those defenses today, because as you can see, we're being raided. So, we have tribes people attacking. They're attacking straight away. And apparently they're a little bit wily, so they're going to avoid turrets and traps. Not that that's really relevant, because I only have the one turret, and it's not going to be relevant in this fight. And the traps are kind of unavoidable, except for, you know, gates. So, we are going to see what they're able to do. They're all using melee weapons, so they're not going to sit back and shoot. They have to come at us if they want to attack us, which I assume they do. But yeah, you can see that the moat over here is done. So this is, you know, completely finished. I've obviously left a room or a space in the dirt to get to the gate. So ideally that's going to force anybody attacking from the north to go at the gate. And we've extended the land out to the water there. We still need to build, you know, the palisade and the tower and everything. And then we're doing something similar down here, though I haven't built the moat down here at all yet. But it'll just be a matter of connecting this marsh to that marsh, so easy enough. This marsh has already been spread on into this area, and we've filled in a little bit of it here. I'll need to get this out of the way before we can go ahead and connect that. But all in all, it's progressing pretty well, and we've got this wall completely enclosed. Last time around, there was a big hole in it because of the growing zones, which we've obviously moved. We have all three of them over here, in fact. So this one is no longer in use, though I am going to make sure we harvest every little bit out of it. I should probably ask them to harvest this heal root too before I forget, because without a growing zone, they'll just ignore it. And it will deteriorate. We don't want that. So we'll make sure we get those. We might need to manually move some of these chunks because it looks like they're holding the door open. And we don't want that. Though that might be a good bait. I guess we'll see what they decide to do. I'm not going to call up our people to defend straight away, because these guys are going to take a while to get there, and I don't want them to spend their whole day drafted and waiting. As you can see, we have a couple of new additions to the colony. In fact, I should talk about that more before we get into this. So Eel has joined us, and then Stomp was the person that we rescued in the mission in the last episode, so he was with us last time as well. I'm gonna get them both renamed. I just haven't had a chance to jump out and look at the comments, because I'm actually recording this after the last video, though I obviously did play a little bit in between. But I'm trying to get this batch done, so this will probably be the last video I record in this batch. Therefore, I'll check the names and change them before we start the next one. Also, we took 3 prisoners last time. I haven't been actively recruiting them because I remembered that we didn't get to look at their recruitment stuff, and I didn't want to have any of them like join before you guys got to see that, because it seems a little bit cheap, because you have no idea of knowing what their actual recruitment difficulty was, and so it could look like I was like trying to cheat them in or something. So I just wanted to show them off, and then we'll start recruiting them today. As you can see, Diver has very low difficulty and resistance, so he'll join us almost straight away. So we'll change that over to work and recruit. Ball is somebody that we actually have no intention of recruiting, so we'll just leave him on force to work, but there are his difficulties and whatnot. And then Denise was one that we were considering. She is, or she has some potential as a fighter. Very good miner and a very good artist, but she hates dumb labor. So she won't haul, she won't clean. Apparently she won't research, craft, or cook either because of her backgrounds. So she's got a lot of hated work types. We're gonna have to decide what we want to do with her. But for now, I will just leave it at forced to work. And while we're here, let's check on the other people. So Kaibo, his resistance is broken, but with 93% difficulty, it's going to take a couple of tries to get him to join. Polar Bear still has 33%, but apparently we're not recruiting him. Why is that? We should be recruiting him. I thought I fixed that, but I guess not. And then Billarar is 73-36. I thought we were recruiting him too. Oh well. So yeah, we weren't recruiting any of our prisoners except for the one that joined us, but that's okay. We're going to start recruiting them now. We are a little bit behind on food too, though they can eat the smoked meat. So we're not in terrible shape, and we have some of these like gruel meals. I've got them cooking again just because we weren't producing pemmican fast enough. So I figured we'd pump out a little bit of each. And I might actually remove the option for them to eat pemmican just so that we can build up some of it as a stockpile for any missions that we need to go on. Oh, and then the biggest thing probably that happened between episodes is we finished that damn research project. So, what was it? Where is it? Mediterranean culture for 5,000 points. We finally finished it. We can start producing Mediterranean furniture and clothing, though we need to do this one for the actual agriculture and stuff that we can grow, and then these for the armors and whatnot. So we'll have to get on that, and as you can see, I've already queued it up. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get back to this. It looks like they're going to attack us right about here, so let's call everybody up. And where do we want to fight? I'd like to use my defenses, but I'm a little bit concerned that they're just going to focus all their efforts on this building, and I don't want them to let my prisoners out. So let's go like right here. And we're going to get a nice look at these new shields. They function a lot better than the other ones in terms of appearance. You can see they actually hold them in front of them, and if they change their facing, it'll actually reflect that. So I think that's really cool. But obviously not a big deal. I'm hoping that they're going to be much more effective in terms of actual use. Where are they going? It looks like they're going to run over here. I'm okay with that. That's actually preferable, because then I don't have to worry about this building, but it doesn't look like they're all doing that. Maybe they're making their way here? I'm kind of tempted to, and I'll probably will do this, I'm going to make that marsh go all the way through, just so that this is one big body of water that people will avoid, and kind of force them to come at us head on. Okay, you're here. You're coming around the long way. Great. So somebody's going to have to go deal with this clown. Everybody else, do me a favor and let's see. Stomp, you don't have a weapon, so just hang out in there. And I don't want to send you to go deal with that guy. Oh, he's coming around the back. Okay, fair enough. Oh, right. I forgot. We tamed a mega sloth, not intentionally. It self-tamed, I think, and then they started training it. I decided to turn it into meat. But as you can see, it did get named, so someone's probably very upset about that. Wow, you got wrecked. Go ahead and melee attack that ibex, just so we can turn it into food while we're here. That guy got downed before he even got to us. These guys look like they're going around the back, which is fine. Oh, also, I finally rememred to do this. I went into the mod options and I changed up the simple sidearm stuff so that the Gladii swords are actually sidearms now, as are the knives. So, it just makes things work a little bit better. Aetius, mount that horse. Stilicho, mount that horse. You guys are going to run down some of these idiots. Is there any other horses around? Kind of. They're a bit far. Galba, can you run and mount that one? We should be able to get these guys before they make it off the map. I don't care if we capture them or kill them. I just don't want them getting away. ATS, go after Gallo. Actually, somebody was further away. You're probably long gone. And then you're going to go after Bison. Okay. So, everybody else, feel free to go about your business as usual. Constantine, you might want to get yourself treated. Stomp, as you were. Let's see. Red. Careful shooter, staggeringly ugly with bloodlust. Not a bad fighter. With potential to be better. Could be useful as a farmer and as a doctor. Then we have Caro, who is a nimble undergrounder. This guy's way too good to not bring on. Oh, wow. Kind of a mess, though, isn't he? He's 73 years old, which is a real shame. We just cut his eye out and almost took his ear off. He's got a frail torso with a gunshot wound. We'll pretend that's like a, I don't know, a crossbow bolt wound or something. Apparently was suffering from cancer in his left arm, though it's in remission, so that's good. And then he's got a bad back and a bad heart. He's so good, though. I'm tempted to bring him on, and we'll try to get him all patched up and see if it's even possible. So do me a favor and capture him. Is this bronze? Yeah, we want to probably salvage that. I keep meaning to... Oh, good, you got Dan. Nice. Is Dan worth saving? Kind, body purist, quick sleeper. Maybe. He's young. He's not great, but he could be decent over time. And then what happened out here? You're on your way up there right now. You're fighting there. So do we save Dan? Dan the Forest Kid. How many spots do I have in here? Like none. Is there anybody that I would be cool with just letting go? What faction is everybody from? It looks like they're all from the same faction, probably. Actually, no. You're from that Southern Covenant place. As is Ball, right? Yeah. I didn't really care for Ball, did I? No, he's a pyromaniac. So let's set Ball free, because he's not going to be recruited. And it would be wise for us to probably get on better terms with some factions, especially the ones that are apparently spawning in with guns, even though they're not supposed to. So it would be probably wise if we just made peace with them, and then we didn't have to fight people with guns with swords. So yeah, let's go to his prisoner tab, and we're going to release him. Tanya, can you do that right now, actually? No. Somebody like you has to do it, probably, or maybe Stilico. Okay, well, it'll get done eventually. But we're going to let him go. I don't think we're going to do anything with Red. I mean, it's tempting because she's not that bad. Just, she's ugly, and bloodlust does make them cause, you know, fights. But all in all, like, she's got skills. You're up against, like, what, Denise? You know what? I'm going to cut Denise loose as well. She's from that same faction, so we'll get a little bit of bonus again on top of what we get from Ball. And she hates a lot of different things. The only issue I can see with this plan is that the tribals are always infinitely harder to recruit. But that's okay, because these people aren't really going to benefit us anyways. So, one thing I will need to do in the meantime is throw down a couple more of those. Tanya, go ahead and capture red. We will go ahead and do that. You're just a corpse. We should probably salvage that copper. I did add a mod that allows us to create a smelter that runs on wood. I just need to remember to actually activate it. And then Dan, right. Did we want Dan? I think for now we'll do it. We can always, again, let him go for a bit of relation later. And, you know, potentially we don't even have to waste medicine on him. You're a greedy night owl. You're also really well-rounded. Like, exceptionally well-rounded. And then Bison, nudist, staggeringly ugly, and too smart. I think we'll just let Bison go. Okay, that's iron. We'll try to remember to grab that. Okay. Again, me capturing way too many prisoners. Oh, right, and I forgot you were still writhing around on the ground. Annoying voice, jealous, jogger. Again, not terrible. Jealous is unfortunate. Annoying voice is pretty easy to deal with. So let's see. Stilico, go about your business there. Once ATS is done, I'm going to see if I can get him to cut these people loose. I think he has to be undrafted, though. No. Why won't it let me? Maybe they've been interacted with too recently. Oh, sorry, Eel. I didn't mean to leave you hanging. Go ahead and grab this guy. He's not useless. And, again, we can just decide to free him later. If we're so inclined. I should probably make sure that nobody's getting a bunch of medicine thrown at them. Oh, no, your leg. Ah, damn it. Like, you probably don't need medicine. Red. What am I looking at? Okay. You probably didn't need it either. Let's actually terminate it. And the rest will get done without medicine. But it looks like they got the nasty stuff done with medicine. You... I guess I'll say fine. Well, that was interesting to say the least. We ended up getting a lot out of it. And we definitely need to get this whole setup moved into here so that I don't need to worry about defending this and we can just set up along our defenses. Did you get hit? Hopefully you get tended to soon. You got a little bit beat up as well. Oh, he got kicked by the ibex. Bummer. Stilico got hit too, but it was just a bruise to his leg and he hasn't eaten in a while. Don't go rest, man. Eat something. I need to get those moved into this as well. That's something I should probably do. So let's go to meals. I think they're nutrient-paste meals. We're calling them gruel, though. But yeah, we'll move them in here so that anybody can eat them. If they stay in this room, as I've said a million times with the pemmican, probably, only prisoners will eat them. And we don't want that. Okay, so Ball exited the map healthy. So we went up 12 relations with them. Once Denise makes it off the map healthy, that'll bring us to -6. And if we wanted to, we could free Diver and end up in a positive relationship with that faction. But Diver was pretty good. Like, really good. So I'm going to keep Diver. They can't have her. They don't deserve her. She's also, really easy to recruit and has like no resistance. So yeah, Diver's just all around a nice character to have present. By the way, I've tried to get them to start crafting some of this new clothing, but they don't seem super inclined to do it. So hopefully the next person that we recruit has some crafting skill, because Constantine is apparently just too busy and Tanya is a bit scatterbrained with her work. She did make the fur coat that I intended for her, though. You can see her rocking that right there. Is everybody going to survive? Probably. I didn't really think they wouldn't. One thing that's really cool about facial stuff, the mod I'm running that changes their faces and makes them more detailed, and also adds the hands and feet. Look at his face after he loses his eye. So you can see that there's a black line right here over his left eye, and then the right eye doesn't have it. It's because his right eye is actually gone, and when he is conscious, you'll see him open his left eye but not his right. It's a really nice touch. And in the other playthrough, the Jurassic RimWorld playthrough, we actually gave somebody a bionic jaw, and it does reflect that too. He actually has like a bionic thing on his face. It's actually really cool. So even if you don't want all the fancy stuff that I've added on through it, like the different eyes, for example, are an extension of it, and then the hands and feet are an option that you can turn off. But I highly recommend it, even if you're just going to use it for the most basic stuff, because it lets you combine different hairstyles and beards, which is really, really cool, and gives you a little bit more options on facial customization, again, even if you're just using the vanilla stuff. And you get cool things like that, where if someone loses an eye, it actually reflects it in game, and not just on their health screen. So we'll need to figure out what we want to do about his whole cancer thing and everything else. We can actually repair his spine with DE surgeries. We probably shouldn't be able to do that, given the tech level available to us, but who am I to say no? It would be a lot of plasteel, so I mean, the resources still might prohibit it. But like, we can cure his gunshot scar. Let's go ahead and do that now while he's unconscious. We can also spend a bunch more plasteel to get rid of the frail torso. Artery blockage. I don't know if we should be able to do that. I'll probably leave that one just because heart surgery in Roman times was basically death. Artificially impregnate, no. None of that. We could give him like a peg arm, but I don't think we'll mess with any of this. I wish we could give him an eye patch, though. I feel like he would be an awesome grizzled legionnaire with like an eye patch, if that were an option. But at the very least, we'll take care of the scar that's giving him pain, and if we ever accumulate 200 plasteel, we'll consider the other ones. Alright, so I figured rather than make the same mistake twice in a row, let's look at the recruitment difficulties for all these new additions as well. Starting with Dan, we have, oh wow, 99% difficulty with 89 resistance, so he's probably like never going to join. It's kind of a bummer because he's not a bad character, but he did lose a leg. And so I think what I'm going to do is actually just cut him loose as soon as he is done, because he's going to be a prisoner for basically ever at this point. And he doesn't offer a lot of utility as a prisoner. For example, somebody like Denise, who even if we didn't have her join us, she would have been somebody we could have effectively locked up in a quarry and just had her mine forever, and she would have been really good at it, or give her an art table and she would have at least produced statues for us. But Dan needs training, and the things that he would be doing kind of require him to be out and about, like fighting, tending or taming animals. Cooking he could do in here, but I've got enough people doing that already. So rather than recruit Dan, we're just going to release him. Gallo is almost as bad. Yeah, again, these tribals are kind of hard to deal with. He's a greedy night owl. Let's see. Just needs an impressive bedroom. That's better than jealous, where they have to have the best. He just needs to have a nice one. He might be worth it, though, because he has such a broad utility. I wish he was a better miner. But we can lock him up in a room with a crafting table and put him to work. Again, art table. So I think I might be willing to wait him out. We'll set him to work and recruit and figure out what we want to do. Then we have Gogua, who is already up and about. Consuming smoke meat. I thought he said he was like smoking or something. Much more friendly to recruit. And he is jealous, which is unfortunate. But we're just going to accept that he's always going to have a slight mood penalty from that. And if it becomes a problem, then we either cut him loose or basically march him to his death. So, not a huge deal. Again, we'll work and recruit there. Red is, again, a little bit more recruitment friendly. Only 36 and 65. She is somebody that is going to fill a similar role to Tanya, probably, growing and doing medical stuff. But she has more utility as a fighter. So we'll go ahead and try to recruit her. And then Karo is going to be incredibly hard to recruit, but not as hard as Gallo. Or at least not as time consuming. And he's just a fantastic character, though, again, with a lot of health problems. So, yeah, we will try to recruit him, even though it's kind of a pipe dream. But why the hell not? By the way, I forgot to mention this, but Loka is currently pregnant. So, because of the combination of mods I'm running, unlike in the Fallout playthrough, they're not just going to pop out as like a teenager. It'll start as an infant, and therefore I had Constantine go ahead and build a small crib in their room so that the infant could live there. I don't know that we'll ever get to the point where we're going to set up like a full school. We may have somebody that kind of tutors the children as they grow up, but more likely they're just going to be sort of in the background until they're old enough to actually take on like a real job. Sort of like Italia, where she's just kind of running around helping, and I'm trying to keep her out of direct combat wherever possible, but because she's really a fighter and nothing else, it's kind of hard. But yeah, she's at least going around and helping us with paving roads and stuff like that, things that she can't really mess up even with a crafting skill of 3. But I will try to educate the children, but it's going to be probably closer to what would have been, reality back then versus, that shouldn't be there, versus like a modern public education system. By the way, one of our horses got clipped pretty good, so I'm making sure that Tanya treats them. Obviously, they bled all over the place. But some of our horses are pregnant too. So I am trying to... Stilicho should not be the master of all of these. But yeah, I'm trying to make sure that they get treated because I do want to continue breeding the horses. Yeah, so mare number 1 and mare number 2. Mare number 2 being the one that got hurt, and then 4 got hurt too, but I think it was mostly superficial. Yeah. This one was a lot worse, though nothing that we can't deal with. Alright, so Karo's gunshot wound has been removed. That's fantastic. He's got a lot of things going on, obviously. This is really the only damage done to him from the fight. Everything else was already there. Again, we can't deal with any of it unless we have plasteel. So it kind of doesn't matter. And frankly, I don't know if we'll ever find plasteel. There's none on the map that I'm aware of, but I didn't look super closely. There's a ton of copper and bronze, though. And we'll definitely start mining that soon, but I keep getting steel delivered to me in one way or another, so I've been using steel more than probably should be, if we're being, historically friendly about this. But if I've got it present and it is something that the Romans, could work with, then I'm going to go ahead and use it. So, while everybody is sleeping, let's talk about the future defenses of the base a little bit, because obviously I've accumulated a lot of stone. That's actually something that Italia has been helping with quite a bit, actually, is she has just been going to town cutting stone blocks. Again, she's not really good at it, but with her 3 in construction and 3 in crafting, she does still contribute, and it's usually for, more minor things like this. So she's been working away at that, and we're going to start putting that limestone to use in the form of walls and embrasures. So I don't care about any of that. I'm looking at walls, specifically limestone walls and limestone embrasures. Yeah, it probably should be marble, but limestone looks more appropriate in this game. The marble is too dark, so I'm going to use limestone and we can pretend that it's marble. But what I'm going to do is where these sort of larger square pylons are, those are going to be walls. And then we're just going to do 3 embrasures across. I'll put an embrasure here so that we can fire on anybody attacking the gate. And we will do... Actually, I might not, because I am going to continue using these gates. I think they look the part a lot better than anything else I have available. So we are going to use these gates. But I think for the final product, when we have, you know, the big stone walls, we're going to do a gatehouse, like a proper gatehouse. So it might be like one here and one there. And we'll put embrasures here so that we can fire on the people when they're trapped in between. I think that makes more sense. And we'll connect it up here or something. But yeah, we'll do 3 embrasures across. We'll actually have enough room to walk through the walls, so the walls will be completely enclosed in this case. And we'll embrasure them a little bit more frequently than like these are, because we don't have to worry about people climbing through the embrasures. We'll leave the stakes, or the spikes, because why the hell not? But what it'll probably look like is, so a wall in line with the palisade, and then another wall here. And that will give them at least a 1 wide walkway to pass through. I'd prefer to have it wider than that. It's just not going to be doable without moving a lot of stuff around, unfortunately. I guess I could move all these forward one, get rid of those, and we'll have it 2 wide. That would probably be better, just because a single wide hallway is really going to slow people down. And if we're rushing to battle stations, we really don't want to be like, you know, struggling through submarine style hallways trying to get to our positions. So maybe I will move that stuff, but it's as easy as just asking for them to be reinstalled, and then if I manually allocate it, it should only take them like a minute. So that's the plan. We'll go ahead and floor it with this cobblestone too, and then we'll have like a really strong outer fortification. I'll start here probably and just work our way around, just like I've been doing with everything else. And again, because we have the limestone piled up, we can start doing that soon, but we'll try to do it in such a way that we're never exposed. So we'll do it like piecemeal. We'll replace a little bit like this gatehouse, for example, but the rest of the palisade will still be intact, and then we can do a little bit of this, and the rest will still be intact. So at no point, if we get raided, will we be vulnerable. It's just some of it will be stone, some of it will still be wood. These guys are just a mess. It's because they don't have a way to wash. I should give them a way to do it, and once we have them... That's the other reason why I want to wall this in properly. Right now they could climb out through the palisades, but once we have this enclosed, I can just let them roam the town and do whatever they want as prisoners, and it won't be an issue. So that's another reason why I'm trying to kind of get to that point, though obviously it's going to be a ways away. But once we get there, they can just, you know, do whatever they need to do around town. We can treat them as sort of like second-class citizens, where they still have normal jobs and everything, they just don't have the same amount of freedoms, which is, I think, pretty appropriate for a Roman playthrough. Alright, so Dan is getting released by Constantine right now. So, see ya, Dan. Please don't get eaten by anything, because if you don't make it off the map, then we don't gain that little bonus. Though, I'll have to actually look at the factions. So, they are... this faction here at minus 30. Yeah, I mean, like 3 of their people coming back to them would be enough to get them pretty close to neutral. Let's see, where's the other one? They're still hostile, but again, Denise hasn't left yet. So we'll be at minus 6 whenever she gets freed. I'm trying to get rid of mouths to feed as well, because we're feeding a lot more people than we need to be. But I can't prioritize it, so I literally just have to wait until somebody comes along to do it. Because every time I try, I get no options. I'm right-clicking on her right now. So hopefully, again, somebody does it soon. Alright, so Dan just made it off the map. Our relations go up 12 with that faction. And again, with the other person we're going to release... Or was it only the one with them? It might have only been one with them. Anyway, whenever they decide to cut Denise loose, I don't know why it's taking so long to get rid of her versus everybody else. But whenever we cut her loose, then, you know, we should be at least a little bit better off with that one particular faction. Another thing I've been thinking of, and I've just been kind of planning stuff out here, is I want to eventually push the water line out a little bit, because I do feel kind of confined in such a small space here. And I talked about expanding out and having like second tiers of walls and stuff like that. And while that's still on the table, I thought that pushing the shoreline this way would make a lot of sense as well, because we already have it sort of bounded. So what I would do is just turn some or all of this dark green marsh into actual land that we can use. And so that gives us more room for buildings in here versus just right along the shoreline there. I will try to set up like kind of a wharf area when we do hit the shoreline, but again, it's going to be further, I think, than it is now. So that's one thing I had on my mind. The other is we're going to start using a little bit more of the hygiene stuff. The Romans, of course, did have some forms of rudimentary plumbing. And so we are going to utilize some of that here. Unfortunately, I can't replicate it very accurately with the way the mod works. So we're going to have to fudge it a little bit. Water towers are fine. We will use plumbing, though it would be really easy for us to just plumb everything with wood. So to sort of punish myself for the fact that this is, or what we'll be using is a little bit beyond what we should be, I'm only going to use either stone or metal plumbing. So I'm not going to use wood because it's just too abundant and it would make it too easy. I will still use like wooden latrines and stuff because that makes sense. But wooden pipes I don't think would really work. And again, wood is so ridiculously abundant that it would kind of remove the point. So we'll use the log boiler with wooden plumbing, and then I'm going to fudge it a little bit with these radiators, because the Romans actually were able to heat rooms, though they did it a little bit differently and it didn't necessarily involve water. What they would do is wherever like a fireplace was in a house, they would actually make room or dig a little bit under the floor so that the hot air from the fireplace could actually get under the floor and heat the floor and the rest of the house as well. And so we're going to kind of try to replicate that with these radiators, though again, they didn't have steel radiators. But we're going to emulate it the best that we can. And if you guys can think of anything else in here that would be worth using, we'll certainly do that. The water tubs are something I think we're going to use a lot of, but I'll use like steel water tubs or something. I think showers are too much. Maybe some sort of like Roman bath if we can unlock later research, but it might be too dependent on electricity. The only reason I'm even doing this is because we can do it with just burning wood. I'm not going to use like a gas or an electric boiler. Or a solar heater, obviously, but anyways, we'll see. I'm going to play around with those ideas. They had very unique technology as a civilization, so it's hard to emulate it with the limitations of RimWorld. Alright, so at the moment, Galba is currently getting his gunshot wounds tended to. Again, we'll pretend these are, I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is, we're getting rid of them. So it's costing us 3 herbal medicine apiece to cure these scars, but it will get rid of his permanent pain, and it will remove the efficiency penalties he's taking to his arm, which by extension is manipulation, and then his right leg and left foot, which is severely detrimental to his movement. I think he was at like 80-some%. Oh, we just got a recruit. Kaibo. Welcome aboard, Kaibo. So I'll have to get a new name for him as well. What are you running off to grab? A bronze knife? No, we'll get you a better weapon than that, because you are... you're not much of a fighter, actually. So, creepy breathing and fast learner. Let's look at his tab here. It always resets when they get recruited, so whatever it was set up to be as a prisoner is no longer the case, though firefighting should really be at 1 for everybody. So, bed rest 2, basic 1. I think for him, the main thing I want him doing is crafting, because that's really where he stands out in terms of skills. His top skill is crafting intellectual, but he has passion for crafting, not for intellectual. And we already have somebody handling that. Stomp has taken over those duties from Stilico, who's now off building and doing those things. So, intellectual, don't really need. I have 2 people better than him, potentially 3 even. Crafting, however, I don't have a lot of people doing that. In fact, I kind of don't have anybody. Konstantin and Tanya occasionally do it, but they're usually preoccupied with other things. So I'd really like him to step into that role. And then, if we need him to, we'll have him mine. We'll still get him outfitted in armor and stuff, but his main focus is going to be producing the armor rather than using it so much. So let's get back in here. I think right now tailoring is what I need done most, so I'm going to put that up at 2. And then we're going to drop hauling and cleaning to 4 and just get rid of a lot of this other stuff. If I need to change things up a little bit, I will. Like, for example, if the clothing bills get done and I don't have any particular thing that needs to get made, I'll just bump all of these up to 2 and he'll do whatever crafting projects need to get done in any of those. And we'll move these up to 3 maybe, and I wouldn't mind if he did a little bit of mining. But the rest of this, I probably don't need his help with. So that's good enough for now. So off he goes. Apparently he's still trying to get that bronze knife. There we go. Why are you doing that, man? Why does everybody hate tailoring so much? I've got 3-4 things I need to get made. And you would just rather cut stone. Even though that's a higher priority. What is your deal? I'm wondering if it's something about this. Ah, that's why. Okay. I had it at 8. I intended to make it 6. There we go. Okay, so that's my fault. Perfect. I was going to say, I was wondering if it was maybe because this was a modded bench. This isn't the default one. I actually had to get rid of the one that was there. Because none of the stuff that we're actually going to be using was in that bench. So this is the modded one that adds just the Mediterranean stuff, which the tunics are sort of our default clothing option. I'm going to give most of our people capes as well because they give us a nice little buffer to temperature. And I'd like headbands to be on everybody that's not wearing a helmet, just so that they have something on their head if they get shot in it, because the head item will be destroyed before their brain, which is important if you didn't know that. Why is Denise still here? Aetius. Yeah, it won't let me interact with her at all, or at least it won't let me prioritize it. Please get rid of her. We're just feeding her for no reason. Okay, well, I'll toggle it. Maybe that'll change things. Uh-oh. Catastrophic failure. Not good. You idiot. And then you're just gonna, like, walk away and eat. At least you didn't kill him outright. So, I guess finish your pemmican and then we'll go ahead and get him tended to. Maybe I should have, was Stomp the one that... Yeah, I'll let Ashura do it. Or was Ashura the one operating on him? I thought it was Tanya. I saw her setting up, and she was in the room. But if Ashura is going to take over, I think that's probably for the best. Even though you are far and away the best doctor. I don't mind the other doctors getting some practice. I think Stomp was the one that treated... Yeah, he was the one that treated our prisoner for his gunshot. But I don't want him walking away from that research bench if he doesn't have to. So what are you doing? You're going to feed him, and then, yeah, I'd like you to come back and do those operations, since I can't trust her to do it. She's got food poisoning. I'm sure that affected it. Everybody's got food poisoning at this point, because the people with food poisoning are like puking all over the floors, and it's just a mess. Though it's actually pretty clean in here right now. I'm not seeing any filth on the floor, so I don't know what that's about. Obviously there's plenty of blood outside, but that's not relevant. Okay, we've got a cloth tunic done. The question is, who gets it? I'm going to have Stomp do it, because he is technically nude right now, or at least partially. The t-shirt only covers the top half, so he's like rocking the Winnie the Pooh look right now. So have him come and wear that. And for whatever reason, well, it makes sense. The tunic covers the full body, so I don't need to worry about pants. And I don't know what we'll do with the shirt. Maybe just get rid of it. Hello, Mr. Wolf. I might look into a recycling mod. There was one I was running back before the switch to 1.0, but after that, everything got kind of screwed up. So I have to find a mod I like that does that again. The same with the mending mod. After we switched, it was just a disaster. And it's a shame, because that mod still exists for 1.0. It's just it doesn't work the way it should. And, so it's really not worth using, in my opinion. Stomp, why don't you, when you're done with that, come over here, and we're going to change up the color of your tunic just to make you look a little bit unique. Because you are a researcher. We'll pretend that he's like an Athenian. The game is paused, right? Because that's kind of a problem. We'll pretend that he's like an Athenian researcher or something. So we'll select his cloth tunic. And let's see. We'll drag those back a little bit. More blue. Like, that's not bad right there. But let's desaturate it a little bit. I think that's good. Okay. Now, where's this damn cougar? Well, where's vampire? That might be easier. Okay. Let's do it this way. Cougar! Which one of you is after my fox? Not that one. Probably not that one. It's pretty far away. Though I will claim his kill there. So, number 3. Could be. He looks like he's headed in that direction. And number 4. Probably not you. So I'm thinking it's this guy. Yeah, he's definitely heading toward our base here. So Constantine and Stilicho, go ahead and come on up here. You guys are gonna go murder a cougar. There's another tunic done, which is gonna get dropped in here somewhere. I should probably focus on this though. And right, now go melee attack this. How did you get hit before you were even through? That was a little bit weird. Okay, cougar's down. Let's go ahead and mark him for hunting now. You go get yourself patched up, and you're going to finish the job. Well, I think I'll go ahead and end it here. So, unfortunately, Galba is having a rough time getting treated, but they did manage to get rid of one gunshot before they completely like botched the rest. So maybe we'll have better luck later. I did make sure that his room got cleaned, so maybe on a second attempt we'll have a little bit more success. And Denise is still here, yeah, so we'll have to get rid of her somehow. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we need to cut her loose so that we can put a different prisoner in that bed and, again, stop feeding people we don't need to feed. I think we need a bit more growth happening too. It looks like our crops have fallen behind our meat consumption or production, so we definitely want to be producing those in roughly equal measure because we need about 50-50 to produce pemmican, and we're not producing pemmican right now, so we need to change that. I think part of the issue is they've just been kind of neglecting this. Obviously, stuff isn't getting replanted, so even if we are growing it relatively fast, if we don't put it in the ground after we harvest it, then we don't get any more. So we'll want to stay on top of that. I'll probably add another one here and maybe even another one there. And we'll mix it up and do like corn on this one and then rice on this one. Just so we have a little bit of variety in terms of growth rates and harvest rates. So that not everything is going to be getting harvested at pretty much the exact same time. So, remember to get some new names as well. And we're probably going to change up Kaibo's look here a little bit too. And try to find him a bed. Or bedroom, I guess. I need to add more already. But thank you guys so much for watching. I had a great time playing some RimWorld with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for the next episode.